Hey guys, RagingRaptor here. Now welcome to a new in-depth preview, and today we have the K-91-PT. The tank we already discussed yesterday, but now we finally got the real confirmation that this is actually not a hoax, it's not a fake, it's a real tier 9 Russian tank which is coming to our game. And it looks fairly interesting. It has a 390 alpha gun, which is very low for that tier. It has good mobility, bad hit points actually, and decent looking armor with trash view range. But yeah, let's just jump in and have a comparison with other tanks when it comes to the firepower department. Now, as already mentioned, it has a 390 alpha gun with 258mm of AP penetration and 315mm of APCR penetration. Those values don't really strike fear into my heart when I imagine this going to be a tier 9 TD, you know? It kind of reminds me of like a IS-4 gun on a TD basis. Now, this is actually pretty alright, I would say, because if you know what you're doing, you shouldn't struggle too much with that penetration value, especially with your 8.6 seconds reload time. This gives this tank a DPM of 2720, and that is very, very juicy, especially when we compare it to the 3 TDs we have right here, the Object 263 and the WZ and the Jag Tiger. The Jag Tiger, yes, he is the king, but he kind of deserves that when we look at the other stats the Jag Tiger has. 220 more than a WZ, 600 almost more than what the 263 has to offer. That is very juicy, and if you know how to, implement that DPM into your gameplay, you shouldn't have that big of an issue. Even if you miss one round every single minute or so, you still have 300 DPM roughly. It's still manageable, really good manageable, So that is very interesting that it has such a good DPM, and it's kind of like its Russian counterpart just obliterates it in that regard. The accuracy, this is a little bit of a weird mixed bag. 0.4, yeah, that is no bueno. Jag Tiger, obviously, he is the king of the snipers. The WZ-111 with a 750 alpha derpish gun has still 0.4, so it's equivalent. And the Object 263, well, 0.43. Yikers, they are inaccurate. However, the cool thing about the K-91-PT is that it has 2.2 seconds aim time, which is fairly quick. It is 0.3 seconds faster than what the WZ has. It is faster than what the Jag Tiger has, but it's slightly slower than what the 263 has. The accuracies on the move, however, they are a mixed bag yet again. 0.19, yeah, that is not that good. That's comparable to what the Jag Tiger and the WZ has. But the turret accuracy, aka how much your gun blooms while you move your gun left and right in the casement, is very good actually with 0.08. It is better than what the 263 has, it is equal to the Jag Tiger, and it's alright. It's a little bit worse than what the WZ-111 GFT has. But then again, I think it will be basically the same, because you have quicker aim time while he has a little bit better accuracy during the movement of the gun. So in the end, I don't see there going to be a big difference. Where the big differences are in is the gun depression. Yeah, -5 degrees. That's not that good, Sure, it is not as bad as the 4 degrees of the Object 263, which makes it very hard to play and you really need to know what you're doing. But it is obviously not as good as the 6 degrees or even the, it's the 6 degrees or even the 7.5 degrees of the Jag Tiger. So you will struggle a little bit, especially when you're not used to bad gun depression. As for example, I am with the Object 274A. I also struggle with the gun depression there in this 6, and that is going to be even worse. But I am totally okay with that, because that's part of the balancing of this vehicle most likely. So it is going to be very much similar to what the Object 268 version 4 has. The gun angles, 10 degrees to the left, 10 degrees to the right, they are okay, They are not good. Even 12 degrees to left and to the right are not good, but you can work with that, okay? It's workable. The issue will be that those 10 degrees will kind of destroy the opportunity or the options to try and side scrape in this vehicle while being able to shoot at the people. Not like something like the Tortoise could do. The Tortoise is like amazing in that, but it's also part of the balancing. What I'm surprised is just 30 rounds. Like, that is nothing. Especially with such a quick firing gun, you will go through those 30 rounds in no time. Like, for example, this guy over here has, 37 rounds. That's a lot more than just 30 rounds, in my opinion. Because Excuse me, 42. If my math is a little bit off. Sorry, my brain is a little bit fried. But this is like, this shoots so much slower, but there's so much more ammo. So you will actually have problems with the K-91 in that regard. That sometimes you will run out of rounds. Most likely, if you're shooting constantly. Happened to me with the K-91 normal tier 10 version as well, once in a while, or almost happened to me yesterday. The mobility, this one is an interesting section because top speed, not its strong suit. Even the Jag Tiger comes close to it. The Object 263 is going to be the king. 55k pitch, top speed. Jeez, nice. But, and here comes the big but around. 800 horsepower, 20 HP per ton ratio. Now that is nice. That is 1.7 more than what the Object 263 has, 8 more than the WZ, and 11 roughly more than what the Jag Tiger has. So it's a speedy boy. It's a very, very quick tank, and it accelerates quickly thanks to also good soft stats, 0.9, 1.0, and 2.0, as you can see right here. It is better in every single way than the 263, the WZ, and the Jag Tiger in that regard. The gun traverse speed, 26 degrees, not that good, but everybody has the same roughly, and this is the not important. The hull traverse speed, now this is where you are going to see the medium soul in that tank. 45 degrees per second. 20 more than the 263. Like, getting circled in the K-91-PT will probably be very hard to achieve. Yes, you will most likely have the transmission in the front of the tank, meaning that if you get hit in the front, you'll sometimes burn. Or not burn because of the transmission, but you'll get your motor or engine damaged. But you can also burn because right after the transmission, the engine is. That's how usually such tanks work. It's the same shit with the Object 263. But it's so fast, and the reverse speed is also very good. Usually you struggle with such tanks with poor reverse speed, and 20 is like, that is very, very quick. And the good HP per ton ratio allows you to get into good positions and contested positions, even on hills, fairly quickly. However, I do think that in the long run, the 263 will just outspeed it, just because, it has a higher top speed. However, ramming-wise, I'm pretty confident in saying the Object 263 is going to win every single time. It has better frontal armor, most likely. It has more horsepower, and it has a heavier weight. So it's going to be a lot more punchier. The survivability, this one is very interesting. Obviously, we do not know how the whole armor is going to see. Usually when they have like casement turrets and stuff like that, it's very hard to judge how is the frontal whole armor. So for example, Jag Tiger, whole armor 250. We know that those flat spaces are 250, but the Tiger hull is like 160, 150 in that regard, so it's nowhere near 250 millimeters of armor. So yeah, I think this might be the same thing with the K-91-PT, where when we look at the superstructure, it might be the thickest part, the 230 millimeters, slightly angled, meaning maybe 270, 260 millimeters of effective armor, which is nice, totally legit. But, and here comes the big but, I kind of have the feeling that the frontal whole armor, and we discussed that in yesterday's quick peek, the whole front looks slightly different. It has bulges for the road wheels, which they aren't there for the for the tier 8 and the tier 10 version. So I might say that maybe Wargaming did, redo them a little bit and give him a little bit more armor, because that is usually where you have the planetary gear mechanism of the transmission located for the frontal road wheels. Maybe because there's a lot more armor, they had to make those bulges out to place that in. So maybe the frontal armor is going to be better than what we know from K-91. Would be reasonable, because the real K-91's frontal armor is kind of trash, It's not really that good, and it would make this tank very hard to play to, go always full down with 5 degrees of gun depression, with a turret or a casement being placed in the back of the tank. Would be very, very hard. So I could imagine that the upper front plate will be buffed while the lower plate might stay the same, which would be, fair. We don't need any more. Oh, look at me, I'm an Object 268 version 4, and I have such a small lower plate, which is very, very hard to hit. We don't need that. However, it will also be interesting to see how strong is the gun mantler. Is this really a 100mm gun? And is this MG weak spot a weak spot? And does it have a cupola? And those are things which right now I am curious about, and we don't know yet. The other big problem will be the hit points. 1600, I already discussed that in my 274A video, where low hit points are sometimes very, very annoying to deal with, and this tank is no exception. It is a balls-to-the-walls tank. You see it from the stats, you see it from the gun. You want to go up close and personal. And just having 1,600 hit points, that is little. That is very, very little. It might be totally a balancing factor, like it is with the 274A. But it's still very interesting, to be honest. The view range, and this is the other big issue, 360. That is a fat yikers, you know. If you have a very, very good crew, I'm confident in saying that you should be able to get good view ranges. Like right now, I don't have any view range skill on my 263, so we can quickly add it to the comparison and go to the compared list and have a really quick configuration look. What did I say about gaming? Configuration look, where we are also giving it those two skills. Now we apply them, and now we should be able to see how much maximum view range we can get is 446. Like, that's right on the edge of what I want to have. So you can get good view range with this vehicle. Or, well, good in, you know. And that is one thing which is very important. The K-91-PT is an enclosed vehicle. It doesn't have... Well, it does have a roof. It's not like this where you have an open top and everybody's like, the fresh air of Mother Russia. Here you actually have to have a ventilation system, which means you can say, you know what, I don't give a shit about the GLD or the IRM because I turn already so quickly. I already have pretty decent soft stats. I care about vents. And then you have a pretty good view range if you have a good crew. So that is very, very interesting. Again, Object 263 cannot have those. Cannot. And the crew layout, it's the same as every other tier 9 or tier 10 tank destroyer of the Russian tech tree right now. Conclusion. I like the tank. I really do. It's a weird concept. It's another K-91. It's another Russian tank. Obviously, a lot of people are not happy about that. But it looks interesting and it looks balanced-ish so far. However, the armor makes or breaks this vehicle. If the frontal hull armor is a lot stronger than what I anticipate, yikers, that might be an OP vehicle. If not, yeah, it's fine. Interesting will be, what is this tank going to be? Is it going to be ranked reward, because we need one for summer again to tease people? Is it going to be frontline reward, which might be the case Wargaming is preparing, because most likely in March frontline and Steel Hunter season is going to start again, so this might be a thing. Or is it going to be a replacement for the 263, because the 263 doesn't really match the tree that much anymore, and maybe they put it back up to tier 10 as a collector vehicle? That would be interesting. Or is it going to be a part of a new campaign, personal campaign? We do not know. There's a lot of speculation going around, especially with tier 9 vehicles, you know. I highly doubt it's going to be a premium. Just recently they said, nope, we do not have any interest in doing tier 9 premium vehicles. But we'll see how this is going. We genuinely will see how this is going. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about this vehicle. Don't forget to subscribe if you always want to be up to date with your latest World of Tanks information, except when I have a lot to do with university, because then I have to go a little bit slower. And yeah, hype for the below 10k goal or below 10k team, like 9,200. Like recently we grew so quickly. That is amazing. Thank you so much. If everything goes well, we may or may not get myself an amazing Christmas present, which is going to be 10,000 subs. Like, geez. Thank you so much for hanging around, sticking around with me. Cheers, good luck on the battlefield, and I'll see you around.